So now we're at the fun part. Alright guys, the desk is done. Could not be happier with it. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and I hope you guys all had a great holiday. I know I definitely did. I'm super excited for today's video. We're actually not doing a car project, but we're going to be building something that I've been wanting to do for a while, which is a new computer desk, workbench for all my electronic stuff. So I have the laptop, an extra monitor hopefully soon, a drone, GoPro, a couple cameras, tripod, bunch of lenses. I was a photographer for a lot of years, doing travel work and stuff, so I just have a ton of gear, and I'm really looking forward to getting that all organized, because currently it's a big mess, and when I go, you know, have a second to go take some photos, or I need to do some kind of marketing thing for Instagram or on the YouTube channel, it can be kind of hectic. So I'm really looking forward to getting more organized, having everything kind of laid out nicely, and yeah, so let's get into it. I'll show you some of the details of the desk, the materials I'm using, and the tools I'm using, if you guys want to follow this as a guide, or maybe just get some inspiration for a new desk for yourself. Let's do it. Here's the basic design for the desk. Now, if you thought I was bad at welding, just wait until you see me try and draw perspective. But hang in there, we'll get the idea across. Okay, it's gonna be 8 feet long, like this. It's gonna be, I think it's 27 inches wide, which is kind of wide, but I'm gonna use a butcher block that's already pre-cut. So the leg height is gonna be 28 inches, which is calculated to be the right sitting height for me at 5'10". So we're gonna have 4 of those legs. And then I think it's 38 inches down here. We're gonna have a shelf like this, and this is so I can store my camera gear and all that kind of stuff below. I'm gonna put some lights in there to shine down on it and look beautiful. And then on the back, it's actually gonna go up about 32 inches like this. This is gonna be pegboard here. You can, like, you know, put things there, maybe some cool looking stuff, maybe mount a monitor, but on top I'm also going to do a little shelf. That's the wrong angle for the drawing here. You get the idea though. There's going to be a shelf on top where I can place, you know, extra boxes and other equipment and stuff. So I plan on having space for a couple laptops right here. 2 people can work at the same time. Maybe we'll have an external monitor mounted up here, and then I might be able to have my 3D printer over here, camera gear, a couple Pelican cases. You get the idea. It's a basic computer workstation desk, and I'm really excited to get started on it. So let's go. Guys, check out all the steel I have in here. Big projects up ahead for this next year. Lots of bumpers and other stuff that's going to be on the channel. So went ahead and invested a lot of money in a bunch of steel, so you'll be seeing more of this on the channel soon. But today we are going to be using this 1x2 inch tubular steel 16th wall, and that's going to be the main structural pieces for the whole desk. And then there's some other materials I don't have here yet, but we're going to pick up some butcher block, I believe, from Home Depot. I'll show a picture maybe right here if I'm clever. And we're gonna use that. Kind of expensive, you guys. This whole project's not actually that cheap, but it is gonna be a really nice piece when it's all done, and I'm really looking forward to it. So first things first is we need to make all the cuts for our materials, and I'm gonna do that using this wood cutting miter saw that I have. You've seen this in my other videos. I got it for free, and I just changed out the blade to a Diablo steel Sermont. I think it's called the Steel Demon. Yeah, one of these guys here. This is about 30 bucks, but it'll cut that tubular steel really easily. You can run it on a wood saw if you don't have a metal cutoff saw, which I don't have yet. You know, companies, if you want to send me one, I need one. But for now, this works really well, and it's gonna let us do 45, so we can put all the tubing together really easily. So probably be using this guy, and then a couple angle grinders to clean up stuff. And yeah, that's probably mostly what I'm going to be using for this whole build. So, all right, I'm going to write down the cut sizes we need, and then we can start working. So I'm going to do 8 foot total length. Do 1, 2 at 28, or sorry, 1, 2. What is that like? I'm gonna do those guys, which you get, and then I don't know. Most likely I'm gonna change them. I think I'm gonna stick with these measurements, although I'm gonna run my measuring tape on my desk upstairs and just kind of double check that. It might change by an inch or two, but if it does, we'll definitely measure it when it's all done. But I think that's what I'm gonna go with, and now I can start cutting. Okay, so most of the pieces are actually all cut out now, and I've started laying some of them out just a little bit. I think this project is going to go by, oh my gosh, my hands, go by pretty quickly. For the main part, it's going to come together, and then projects like these, I feel like it's all in the details, and it's going to take take a while to actually finish, maybe another day. So, but now I'm going to fire up the welder, and we're going to tack this together and get the main structure, and we can go from there. The Forney welder I've been using for the last 8 months since I won it in a giveaway back in May. This is the Forney 220 MP. MP means multi-process basically. So you can do MIG welding, you could do stick welding, and you can even do TIG welding with this machine, which is really cool. Such a neat machine to have for my first machine because it does have all those different options. So I just got a fresh bottle of gas here. We're gonna turn it on, and let's see, let's check these settings. Okay, so today we're welding 16 gauge steel tubing. It says 17 to 18 volts, 18 or 180 to 220 inch per minute. I think I'm gonna go a little lower than that. I think maybe the speed of my travel is a little slower, so it kind of overheats at that. I'm gonna probably go 16.5 and maybe 19 or 190. Let's do 16.5 and 200, and we'll try a couple pieces of scrap and just see how that goes. But I've welded this type of steel in the past, and over 16 I think it kind of wants to pop through. So we're gonna try this setup and get this tacked together. All right guys, something else I forgot to mention. It's gonna be time consuming, but I'm gonna take the angle grinder with the flex disc or a flap disc, clean all 4 sides of every end of this metal. And that's just gonna make sure that we get nice clean metal, good clean welds. Takes a lot of time, but it's gonna pay off in the end, so I'm gonna get to that right now. Check it out, each end is ground down, so I've got the mill scale off, and then I also wiped every piece down with some acetone, and that just gets the grease off and cleans these up really well. You really don't want any of that on there when you're welding because you can get kind of crappy welds. So it takes a lot more time to fix afterwards, so put the time in the prep, and you will be very happy you did. So I'm gonna start laying this out and get the first pieces tacked together. One more thing before I get started on tacking that together. You're probably thinking, why are you building it way over here? Well, currently I have about 1,000 pounds of steel right in the middle of my workshop, and next project is going to be building like a caster, something on casters to be able to move this around while I work on the bumpers and all this stuff here, but I don't have that done yet, so I'm kind of making it over here with what I have. And then I'm also just going to be tacking it together on the ground. Not really the best practice, but it's the flattest surface I have. We're just going to do tacks, so everything's going to be kind of easily adjustable. Yeah, just wanted to add that in there, let you know why I'm not working in the main space soon. Anyways, I'll get started on this. All right, so take a look at what I'm doing here. I've got my corners matched up. I've got a magnetic square, and I've tried to leave a little bit of a gap, basically about a 1/16, which is the same thickness of this metal. That way the weld has somewhere to go. It's pretty thin metal, but so there's gonna be a lot of grinding, but definitely that gap is gonna help a little bit. I've got the ground nice and close to where I'm gonna be welding, which is also important. I've got the other corner set up the same way, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tack these outside edges first, because this piece is not gonna get any longer or shorter, but the angle of my leg could make the bottom longer or shorter. So tacking the outside on both sides, and then what I can do, run the tape, that's 8 feet, run the tape and make sure these are also total of 8 feet and nice and square, just to make sure they're not slightly bowing out or bowing in. So I'm gonna do that now. You can watch. Now we're at the fun part. This tacking together goes almost as fast as cutting, if not faster. Of course, it's not finish welded, but we'll get it all tacked together. And that way if we make any mistakes, which I seem to always make mistakes, it's easy to cut. We're not cutting full welds, we're just cutting little tacks and we can readjust. So yeah, let's put the center parts through and see what it looks like. All right guys, so I'm super lucky. My brother lives next door, is a carpenter, and has a really nice Makita track saw. So although I could be using my skill saw and clamping like a level and kind of making a jig like that, he has this, so I'm gonna go ahead and use it. Super nice. I just need to cut 4 inches off the end here. Probably the highest stakes part of the whole thing. If I cut it too short, I'll have to fill it with something, but basically you just want to nail it the first time on this one. If you cut it too long, but by just a hair, then you can sand it, but it just takes a ton of extra work, and it's hard to run the saw to cut, you know, just a hair off. So hopefully I nail it the first time and it drops in with just a little tension, but we'll see. I'll see how it goes. Whew, hope that worked. That's $240 if it didn't. Oh man, look at the cut on that though. That saw is the bomb. I don't know if you can tell this from there, but the desk is not perfectly square. I think the wood is, and it fits really nicely lengthwise up to here. This corner is a little short. Okay guys, so as you saw, this wasn't square, and what I had to do was I took a ratchet strap across diagonally along the little soft shackle, and cranking that up helped pull this in, which was why it wasn't square, kind of pulled it this way. Now it created this big gap on the side over here, but I think when I let the tension off, that'll relax maybe just a hair. Explode. Nice. Okay, so I put a ratchet strap under here, cinch it to close the metal around, and I'm surprised this actually looks pretty dang good. I mean, it's like a millimeter gap, which is totally fine. And what I'll do is I'll do a strap just like this, but metal underneath, under tension, weld it in there, and then move the strap down, or maybe I'll do two straps and get it all done like that, and then weld it together, and this will actually be looking really good. Oh man, I'm so stoked. This is gonna be so nice to work at. It's gonna be so nice. Plenty of room. Nice. Man, I'm so excited. Alright, definitely jumped ahead of myself by putting the wood in here already. So I'm having to kind of cover it up with metal because I haven't ground it yet or painted it. But I can get the wood out because I've already kind of wedged it in. So this is what I'm doing. Got a kettlebell holding down a steel piece of scrap right here, and then I'm going to be grinding all these welds off so they're nice and smooth. So let's check it out. Yeah. 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 Or you know what? Sorry, but I'm gonna do one more weld here. Yeah. All right, you guys, check it out. Nice and snug in there. Kind of ugly piece of plywood, but honestly, I guess I'm okay with it. It's gonna look good all together. Cleaned up a little bit, sanded, and then I'll put some of the same stain on there, but really happy with it. It's not obviously totally perfect along the edges. There's a little gap way back there, but you won't be able to see it, so I am totally happy with that. You can hear the kids upstairs. Alright guys, so what I'm doing here is using a piece of scrap plate and cutting about 6 or 7 little rectangle tabs. I've also drilled this plate beforehand, and that way I've got a place to place wood screws. And what I'm going to use these tabs for is to support the inlays in the upper shelf and the lower shelf. So once I cut these tabs, clean them up, I can grab them and a piece of the 3/4 inch plywood, which I'm using in the upper and lower inlays, kind of just hold it in one hand, place it against the tubing at the level that it needs to be, and then quickly tack it. Once you do that, you've got your tabs placed at the right depth, perfectly flush, and you're good to go. So this is just a really simple, easy way to support an inlay. It's not super strong unless you use a bunch of them, but the frame is tight enough that it holds the inlay in pretty well. It's pretty strong too. So yep, that's how I got the inlays in the upper and the lower shelves. Quick little update on the desk project. I've been doing a pretty lazy job of recording as I go, and I've skipped a bunch of steps again. I guess this probably isn't a very good step-by-step. It's more just watch me make my dream desk. But I just got back from the hardware store and got some pegboard, and I'm so stoked on the way this looks. I think I'm totally gonna restain the butcher block and go for a darker stain, because check this out. All right, check it out, guys. The pegboard is in. Oh my gosh. I love the color combination of that steel with the pegboard. So first I dyed the butcher block with this natural tung oil, and I like the color. It's a nice like light honey color, but after seeing that dark pegboard with the steel, I'm like so in love with that combo that I really want to darken the butcher block. Only thing is I've already put the tung oil on the butcher block, so I'm not sure how well it's going to soak in something else. I remember I had some dark Danish oil from a coffee table I had built, so I'm gonna give this a little test run on the untreated butcher block just to get an idea, and then if it looks good, I'm gonna go ahead and put it on over the top of this. I might do some sanding first, but yes, let's check it out. Okay, so I'm editing this video right now and realized that I left out some stuff. One, I was able to get the wood out. I thought I had, once I put it in the first time, it wasn't gonna be able to come out, but I just spent some time and got it out, and that made working on the desk a lot easier. Two, it was so heavy I could not get it inside, so I had to take off all the wood And that is what you're about to watch me do, is bring this desk in by myself over my back patio. So check it out.
Hold on. No, you don't have to go through. Yeah. Now we can go through.
All right, you guys, desk is done. Really comfortable height. My arm rests really nicely. These are just some chairs we pulled from the dinner table, so they're very comfortable, but they could be just maybe an inch higher, and then my shoulders would be perfectly relaxed too when I'm sitting here. But this is really, really comfortable. I love the width of the desk. I chose to go a little wider than I initially thought I would. So the total is 25 inches of wood, 1 inch of steel on either side, but it's made for like a great depth. I can reach the end, but there's plenty of room to like move around. And then looking down the side, plenty of room for someone else to sit down here with a laptop, run the cable through the back so we can both work here. I've got these vertical bars. I put those in so that I could put a monitor mount on either one, so we could have an external monitor. So this will probably change. This is just like my initial setup, but I'm really liking it so far. The pegboard is so fun to be able to play with. Just like put something up like my headphones, grab them. I've got my memory cards in there, some just little stuff, calendar setup, other cool stuff there that's not in the video. My camera's out, charging station, so handy. I've got down in the shelf my Pelican cases, a 1500 or 1510 roller. That will hold my DSLR, the drone, the GoPro, and even my tripod. So that's kind of like my going on a trip hard case. And then I've got this, I usually keep my GoPro in. Anyways, I've got all that stuff out there. Fits perfect. And this case will also fit underneath here. So lots of room for expansion. And then that shelf, I'm so glad I ended up doing the shelf because it lets for that light down here, which is so nice in the afternoon at night. And then I've got just a bunch of bins organizing a bunch of stuff. So hard drives, GoPro stuff, cables, camera flashes from when I did hotel work. And this is all batteries and chargers and stuff. So really, really liking how functional the setup is, and just really enjoying having this desk now. So, all right, you guys, that is gonna bring the desk build video to an end. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm really enjoying having this desk. It was fun to make, and just, it's so fun to be able to use the things you make, you know, like making a desk, you just get to, you're sitting at it every day, so you're kind of appreciating all the work that went into it. And that's the fun part for me, is like trying to nail the design that's functional, that's beautiful, that's basically just perfect for me because I got to design it. So really, really enjoying this. It's going to be a really nice space to work, and I've already been taking advantage of just being able to pop in here, get some work done, and when I'm done, I can leave everything out, close the door, and the kids won't tear it apart. So that's been huge for me. I think you're going to see improvements in my video now that I can edit on the laptop, which as before I was editing on my phone. And yeah, bigger projects and bigger plans for this year. So stick around. I'd love it if you'd subscribe if you haven't already. If you did, thank you so much. It's been really fun to watch the channel grow. People say to hit that like button. It's supposed to help a lot. So if you want, do that. And I'll see you in the next video with the next build. All right, guys, take care.